Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Slightly Better Haircut. Now, in today's episode, or should I say in the last episode, we were with Miku. I forget why. Alright, we were going to set up some stuff for the concert. In the next couple of episodes, I think this route is going to end. How it is going to end, I don't know. I'm not very excited for that either, because I know that it's probably going to be a bit of a string puller, if you know what I mean. It's really gonna pull on my emotional strings. But nevertheless, we move on. I think at the end of the route, I'll tell you what my plan is for the rest of the game, because I do in fact have a plan for the rest of the game. It's not a very complete plan, but it's a plan. So, I'll tell you about that. I'm still thinking of it as I go along with the game. Also, sorry for the lack of uploads. I was supposed to start in the 17th, but I got here in the 17th after my holiday, and I got really tired, so I didn't do anything. Profusely apologize. So let's get started with all that preface. It's unclear for what reason my inner voice stood up for her. She writes and sings songs, participates in social life, studies, and is preparing to enter RUDN. RUDN was a very interesting detail. But I didn't really think Miku was stupid or anything like that. Point for this, Semyon. No points for the first game, Semyon, because he doesn't think very highly of Miku, and we know that. It's just that the mask stuck to her so firmly they can't tell where the real Miku ends, the one who tortured the guitar at the bonfire tonight, and the current Barbie begins. A hypocrite in a hypocritical world. Maybe. I squinted. I don't like that. What am I? Okay, that's interesting. I'll pull the fan.
I remembered.
That's right, she definitely should have been a blonde. Okay, buddy. I'm gonna have to stop you right there. You're insulting my goat. Or should I say redhead? What are we doing here? Okay. No, she needs to be a silly girl with blonde hair to be a silly girl. He's just like this sometimes. I don't know, man. I don't know. Forget the fact that he's dating a categorically smarter girl than him who is also blonde, but it's not important. It's a whole thing. Perfect. But wait. Actually, wait. Maybe platinum? We're gonna cycle through these, aren't we? I'm just gonna stop talking and just cycle through these. Damn! I've been throwing the image of a thumbs up. Ah, Christ.
We've got to get this heavy thing over here.
I hope you like the Miku voice that comes straight from the strength of my arms. She pointed to the xylophone, seemingly not at all aware that this had just revealed her true identity. Blondie! Okay. You mean that Blondie? Yeah. And did you know that you have the opportunity to donate one or more vital organs to the girl's self-esteem fund? It's true. Actually, Slavya's waiting for me to help her. By the way, with the preparations for your event.
Oh, God damn it. So you help both ways.
I'm sure there's an easier way to do this, but if so, I don't know it. I could always use a voice changer, but those sound expensive and tricky to use. So for now, that thing is all the voice changer I need. Miku, I'd like to get you a list of all the necessary equipment for the performance. I cut into her potential monologue, hitting a few corners on the turn. You couldn't have it any other way. We'd been standing around talking for too long as it was. See, I like normal camp shit. Well, normal in relation to. You've got to take everything that happens in this game relatively.
No, chairs first, then money.
Miku looked at me guiltily. I'm just gonna hold the fan until she stops talking.
Please. I just can't carry it myself. It weighs more than me.
Look who's talking. And where does it say "ride here" on me, I wonder? I sighed, grabbing the xylophone more comfortably. I don't know how big xylophones are, I don't have a reference for that, but they can't be that heavy. I mean, The kids' toys, for ones, are just like this big. I can carry like 12 of those. It was evening. There was nothing to do. Oh yeah, looks like evening too. The wooden junk was not so much heavy as it was oversized, and there was no way I could get it in a comfortable position. Also, if this is the last day, how is it already evening? You think they'd have left, unless they mean this is the last full day and they go tomorrow. It's very complicated. Don't worry about it. That's why I probably regretted 5 times that I didn't insist or yell or even left when the idea occurred to me. But you've got to help your comrades. Balancing the frame, I walked up the steps to the stage. I guess there's going to be a final rehearsal or something here now. The instrument will have to be set up against the wall somewhere. I've done the most important thing. And for the job, the reward! That's it. I've got your instrument. Here we fucking go again. I exhaled, piling into the club. Now you help me.
Yeah? Okay, I'll be right in. Will you look at that dress?
Look at the dress? Sorry, I'm afraid not. I've got a whole bunch to do.
You're always so busy and you never have time for music.
I think that hints at something. The Japanese girl was upset. Angrily, she tore off a piece of paper and scribbled something there.
That's it. Take it and go.
She handed me a piece of paper on which a few lines were written down in a child's round handwriting.
The necessary equipment, cables, plugs.
She turned away arrogantly, diligently looking past me.
It is my pleasure to say goodbye to you.
You know what? At least this game does a better job of explaining to me precisely why people even like Miku/Masha in the first place than the original game. There's just... Masha isn't really sold to me in the original game, especially not in her route. This explains a little more. Not much, but a little more. Snorting to myself, I left the club. Expect the commentary throughout the gameplay to also increase, because I'm going to have more thoughts on this game the more it exists and continues to do the things that it keeps doing. I don't like all of the decisions it does, I think you can tell, but commentary's better than nothing. It's better than those fucking commentary list channels that just kind of run through the fucking visual novel like they're trying to reach a click count. Anyway, when I finally managed to get to the club building, it was well past 3 o'clock. And I just went to get a list of the equipment I needed. Even according to the most pessimistic predictions, it shouldn't have taken more than half an hour. But a man supposes and the xylophone disposes. Nice one. Slavia will kill me. I doomfully stated as I discovered the door had no lock on it. And went to surrender. I hope I haven't kept her waiting too long. The door creaked, letting me in. Slavia? At first glance, there was no one in the room. And then what about what she said about being irresponsible and all that stuff? But only at first glance. It was worth noting that the sliding staircase to the attic, it would be about time it was boarded up 100 times, was open and down. And it was the only board that caused me to still not see the most interesting piece of the picture. You motherfucker! I knew it! I knew it! I see this coming from a mile away. You do not trick me. You're not as clever as you think you are. I just want you to know that. You're not as clever as you think you are. I saw that coming from a mile away. From the hole leading to the main problem of the local camp, one could see someone's bare legs. Oh boy. More fan service. I don't have a problem with fan service. And that's it. That's the end of my sentence. I don't have a problem with fan service. I just, I don't know. I just felt like I should get that out of my system. Of the most... I can't. The music, I can't. Of the most pleasant topology. M'lady. And that 10 is golden. Without even looking up, I could already tell by the legs alone who had climbed where they shouldn't have. Of course, I couldn't resist. I snuck up close and... Semyon, I heard you, and I know what you're gonna do. Me too. A laugh came from above. I wasn't gonna do anything. Offendedly, I replied. I had the purest of motives. I'm sure you did. What are you standing there for? I want to close the hatch so no one can get in here. Good. You're taking a long time. Yeah, you know, it's a feeling. Her voice trembled. As if something's keeping me away. You two need to get it together. I mean it. So, well, Sanyich, you fucking fixer. Threatening, huh? I made a completely useless clarification already and got an pressing reply. Yeah. You know, why don't you come down and come on down and we'll just lock the... Okay, first of all, that beep is really, really getting into my ears. I don't like it. I didn't get a chance to finish my sentence. And I didn't either, because... Jesus, that's a beep. Slavia, who was also beginning to say something, fell silent halfway through. Can you stop it with the beep? Jesus. And collapsed like a stone. I'm gonna run through this dialogue until the beep stops. Intolerance was my last thought before she rolled down the stairs. Oh, here we fucking go. Oh, okay. The beep stopped. 4 times, I think. 3 or 4 times. This has got to be the 3rd or 4th time that this shit happens. Can you see my eyes? Can you see how fucking tired I am of this bullshit? I hope you can, because I am. The residual effect knocked on my brain pretty damn good, and I froze watching as Slavia, by some miracle, missed me in midair with all her might. Which she shouldn't have, by the way. You should be catching her right about now. Slammed into the floor. If it's not me, it's her. That's the clear. I think we're getting a pretty clear picture. I'm not mad. I'm not mad. I'm not mad. I'm not mad. The knock came out kind of wooden. A very, very bad knock. That's what you kids get for fooling around, number 1. Number 2, oh my god, did they just kill off my goat? Slavia? Her eyes are closed, chest hardly moves, there's a huge bump on the forehead. Slavia, what's wrong with you? Now kids, I speak from experience. I'm not going to tell you what the experience is, because it's complicated and kind of personal, but if you get knocked on the head really hard, do not, and I mean do not, fall asleep. Do not go to sleep after a hit on the head. I mean it. Thank you. PSA over. Slavia, what's wrong with you? I rush toward her, almost bumping into the ill-fated attic ladder. Can you guess for yourself, smartass, or will you wait until she wakes up? But there doesn't seem to be any damage other than the bump. It's strange that she's unconscious in such a case. Can you really hit that hard from a couple of meters away? You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised. Listen, hear that? You hear it. It seems I didn't refuse to help the day before yesterday for nothing, because I hated what I heard. A dark pulse. What did the old man call it? The techno curtain? Here we... And just when I thought it couldn't get any worse, they have to put that in there. They have to just jam that in there. Acting almost automatically, I pushed the ladder into place and closed the hatch. The ringing immediately disappeared like it wasn't there, thank God. Apparently some sort of protective circuit. And the old man knows his stuff, the inner voice marveled. He's so dry, but he worked well. It discourages even the nimblest from climbing. Only now we don't know what to do with these nimblest. Okay, I think I've made my point in the last episode about all that techno crap going on. So I'm not going to repeat myself. But what I will say is this is a load of barnacles. I sighed. Transition. I'm not a doctor. I don't think I can help her. Well, motherfucker, guess where there's a doctor? You'll never guess where there is a doctor in the middle of camp. You'll never guess where. I guess I'll have to carry the girl in my arms again. Well, fucking hurry up. Hurry up, buddy. I don't see what's stopping you. She'll get used to it. Come on. You don't seem in a huge fucking hurry for somebody who is your girlfriend and currently unconscious after a serious hit on the head. And third, probably traumatized from whatever the fuck she saw in that attic. Not that I'm much of an expert on mechanical damage, but the situation was clear enough in my head. Also, whatever is up there in that fucking attic, it makes people fall off it. Because we've seen Semyon do it before. Slavia came into the club while I was there fiddling with Miku, opened the door and waited for me. Waiting was a bit boring, so she was quite expected to be curious when something weird was heard from upstairs. Came upstairs, got a tangible share of that vibration up there, and quite legitimately rumbled down. I'm carrying her in my arms like a bridegroom. That should be the least of your concerns, pal. I muttered as I walked around the square. I definitely didn't want to meet someone else there. My betrothed, my fiancé, my concussed. Maybe I want to be held too. Take me in your arms and carry me. Wah! More coaxing myself than really playing for an audience, I slowly made my way toward the infirmary. Slowly and painfully. No, of course I was worried about Slavia, so much the whole time that I was carrying her in my arms, no scruples ever occurred to me. And that says something. My poor thing. I pulled her hair away from her forehead, couldn't stand it, touched it with my lips. Oh, that's cute, that's nice. I hope this doesn't have any ramifications! A smile that I loved so much finally appeared on the drained face. It seems her fainting was not so much due to the fall as to the fact she hadn't been getting much sleep lately. That's why she was taking what she can get. Again, technically sorta something like there's something along the lines of a plausible and rational explanation for everything that's going on in camp that I'm not gonna give, because I give up trying to give this game lifelines. It just... one after the other, man. One after the other. That's why she takes what she can get. Oh yeah, I forgot. Up then. That was a very bad... I don't care. So, did you roll here after all? What the fuck am I doing? Reel it in, man, Viola snorted. Compared to this morning, she had extra confidence, though I wouldn't say it added to her joy. I mean, I would have been quite fooled by a roll 5 days ago, and it would have made me blush. This is what intemperance leads to. Take the clothes off. But she wouldn't get current with me with that. That intimidated expression, the few new wrinkles at the corners of her eyes, and the blank detachment. Everything gave the appearance of a person intensely struggling to solve a problem in Viola. One can only hope that this problem has at least one solution. Should we both undress, or can we take turns? Okay, what happened? It's hard to say. I came to the debriefing, but it looks like she bumped her head, and I'll take it from here, thank you. With my help, Violetta laid the girl down on the couch, loosened her tie, and undid her top 2 buttons. I didn't look any further. I stopped back and sat down on the stool. Everybody give a rousing round of applause. I know it's the bare minimum, but this guy can't even reach that. The bar is so low. Waiting for our good doctor to give her verdict. And what a verdict. Well, finish her examination, she concluded. A bump is like a bump. Just bumped into something, and I just hope it's not you. Yeah, but that's not a bump. She fell off a few meters. I smiled with one lip. She fainted from exhaustion. Nervous. What's gonna happen to her now? Nothing is going to happen. Viola shrugged, went to the wash basin, and began to wash her hands thoroughly. She'll sleep for 3 or 4 hours. She'll be bouncing around like a young goat by the dance. Amazing! God, I fucking hate that technical thing they added to the game. Techno bastards, stupid old man. Though I'd wager it'll be till morning. So she'll miss the concert? Probably. Son of a bitch. I grabbed my head. Because that means, yes, the very thing Miku told us, you're more Slavia than Slavia herself. Obey. With a sigh, I got up. Thank you so much. Well, no dance for us. Time to get to work. And probably have more hallucinations. You're welcome. You've been useful to me too. Just in case I didn't elaborate on what she was talking about, and sideways left the scaffold. I didn't want to leave Slavia, but it looks like it'll really do more good now if I at least partially take on her usual functionality. Yeah, I guess so. As I jumped out of the squad house with the red cross on the street, I froze at a loss. So what do we do next? I mean, filling in for Slavia is great and all, but other than the concert, what else was she doing there? Jeez, there's no one to ask. We've got to sweep the square. Yep, that. Can't forget that. Oh, screw you, you so-called free thinker. Fucking Kantian mind. No, why? Freeze! I intercepted Ulyanka, rushing off on her own. Little one, whoa! What do you want? I'm busy! Oh, I think I did that pretty good. That was pretty good. I think I definitely made up for my Viola fumbling in the first bit. She blurted out in one word. There's something I want from you. What's the big deal? Go away, miserable. She pushed me away and tried to run away, but now I was in Slavia mode and I just wasn't paying attention to the nonsense. Thank you. Especially as a very distressed Olga Dmitrievna was running past us somewhere. And I understood perfectly well who was the reason for that in the absence of alternatives. That was audio! That was audio for Uliana. Anyway, Uliana squeaked and immediately ducked behind me. And you told me to leave. I grinned, though covering for the little one. Olga, with a sound hinting at a speed of no less than Mach 1, whizzed past us, chanting unprintable. Close your ears, kiddo. It's too early for you to know such words.
You always say that. When you know a bad word, you're a little girl, but when you're on canteen duty, you're grown up.
I didn't make you do canteen duty, I pointed out.
You know what? Uliana is kind of the grounding force of this entire fucking route, I swear. At least her character is pretty middle of the road to me, but at least in this specific route, when we're with her, normal shit happens, normal-ish shit happens, and we can ground ourselves for a minute and just focus on comic relief. I say that, and I'm pretty sure one of her routes is probably really tragic or something, but we don't need to know that yet. You're taking their side anyways, not mine.
I can take yours too.
Wow, this is great. You and I are gonna make such a mess.
But first, I need you to help me a little bit.
I knew it was coming. You're all the same.
You're all thinking of one thing, yeah. Look, you'll have to do the following. I leaned over to her ear and spoke. I guess we don't get to know. Fair enough. As the sun rolled down from its point in the sky, forcing me to consider the number of hours in local 24 hours, I could no longer feel my legs under me from fatigue. It was a hard 5 minutes. Very hard. In spite of even engaging Ulyanka's labor and defense in its best, no one knows what I promised her as a reward. I turned on absolute pause mode, pressing the smirk that twisted all over my face, the realization that such a day at Slavya's was considered routine. She would get up at the crack of dawn, even the counselors weren't up for flying yet. Yes, a very lazy girl would get up at 5 in the morning to be lazy longer. She would put on her incredibly beautiful tracksuit and go for a run in the cold and quiet. Ordinary life, schedule, routines. If you're a strategist, you know how to enjoy stable, established management, even if it's getting established right now. It's kind of fun to watch things run like clockwork without requiring any input. Although it's a very high entropy system here, participation is always required, there to support, there to prop it up, but it's also a joy. And then I show up on the horizon and everything goes to hell. Yeah, honestly, I'm not blaming Semyon enough again. It seems that everything started to fuck up as soon as he got around here. I marveled at the girl's boundless energy, her strength and endurance, and I myself managed to wear her out, as a capricious child wears out his mother so that she falls asleep next to him at the halfway point of an undertold tale. Not a better analogy I could not find for that. I was amazed at how she always knew where, what, and how to do to keep things from falling apart, and now I'm running in her place myself. Exhaustion has pressed her frail carcass to the hospital couch, and woe to whoever tries to wake her up. I was almost 30 when the story began. My name was Semyon, and I'd been dreaming all my life of finding a place for myself. Finally, we're getting a little bit real and honest. I feel like this isn't that hard to do in the normal game without all this techno crap, and if you're getting tired of me complaining about the techno crap, then you might as well stop watching here, because I've got plenty more where that came from. But yeah, this is very honest. I hope this earnesty continues for at least another 6 lines of dialogue, because realistically that's all I'm gonna get before something stupid happens. It seems simple. Listen to yourself and let it happen. But I've tried myself in so many fields, from love to design, and nowhere have I found myself. The saddest part is the computer toys have fostered in us such a ruthless expectation of a visible manifestation of progress in case we move the right way. It doesn't work in life. In love, for example, there is a clue. The heart. It hiccups, rejoices, and beats and responds in all kinds of ways. What about vocation? You try your hand at something like music. You pick up a guitar in your teeth and you've been playing for a few years, overcoming all the attendant things, thinly earning yourself a level of playing. And the result is that you don't have enough reaction time to play the really difficult stuff. So you don't catch the melody by ear because it's not subtle enough. And anyway, there's an Asian brat about 14 years old who's doing it way cooler than you for a long time. Somehow, it turns out that in almost every field of endeavor, there's an Asian brat doing it cooler than you. Okay. This game was made in 2018. But time is lost. You can't win back the years you've wasted, and you carry the cross of your failure for the rest of your life. It's similar in art, in design, in photography, even in writing. You make tangible progress after 6 months, but very soon you reach your bar, above which you can no longer jump. You realize very clearly how low that bar is when that Asian brat comes into your life. Is he complaining about Miku? That would be... who knows.
But now, while I was fiddling with the equipment, playing with Ulyanka, fighting off the kids trying to turn Soundcheck into a request program, I suddenly realized that quite possibly, this is my place. There's a reason I'm so drawn to Slavia, isn't there? I sat on the bench next to Miku, smelled the faint scent of eucalyptus perfume, and was diligently silent, barely responding to her monologue. Because she was the only one chatting, but for some reason, the younger pioneers stayed out of her way. Not a bad repellent against clingy little things. Of two evils, as they say. Boiling, bubbling life, childhood. And for some it will continue tomorrow and the day after that. To give everything to jump off the bus again, the only fear of dousing yourself with juice from a jar. To jump out into the world 3 weeks of 3 weeks of summer and people were glad to see you. God, I wish we'd have gotten the full 3 weeks. That shit would have rocked. And you get your passport after camp and the world is still too bright to be sad about the little things. I like it, I said. Motherfucker, is that genuinely her outfit? Jesus, I should not have taken off my glasses. Hold on, I've really got to clean them though. These things get surprisingly dirty. Oh, also, yeah, I've got to take this thing. I know that's... I'm just not going to complain about the suit, I don't even care. Excuse me, Sinichka, did you say something? Because I couldn't hear. It's so noisy and the pioneers are noisy and it's too bustling. I like it here, I repeated without raising my voice. Oh, I like it here too, very, very much. And when we first arrived, I didn't know anyone and I tried to get acquainted with everyone, but they cursed and shunned me. But then I realized that in the Union, you just have to give a person time to get used to and open up to you. Thank you. Although I myself think you have to get used to new acquaintance, but I just can't not communicate. I jerked my shoulders a little, but still squared up during this week. How tight my shirt is, and not so long ago it was loose. Youth. All it takes to reshape your own body is a simple desire and a little bit of activity. Even just swinging a broom will be enough. Let alone things like running cross country with one girl in your arms. I felt someone's gaze on me and turned around. Whooping, Pioneer? Violetta's managed to regain her composure a bit, I see. Well, that's a relief. At least something in this world is going the old way. I shrugged. I'm tired, of course, but I'll be damned if I'm going to tell anyone. How's she doing? The question was more than appropriate. Viola shrugged her shoulders. Asleep. What will become of her? Unlike you, she didn't bang her head. She looked me over from head to toe. It seemed to do you good, though. What do you mean? She woke up a couple of times. If you want, you can go see her, just quickly. But I have the concert. That's why I said, just see her. Because who knows what you'll do given the time. Item obtained, infirmary keep, ×1. Store import decision is available. You better not give me a decision. Screw you. I have an errand that I can't trust anyone else with. I'm sure Slavia would understand. Actually, I'm in charge of the concert. I'm sorry, Miku, but I'd really feel better if I supervised everything myself. That's very interesting. I don't necessarily agree with that choice, but for once, I understand it. I think that's definitely a first for this route that I do not agree with, but still understand a choice that this guy's making. Well done, Pioneer Girl. Picked herself a cavalier to match. Viola nodded and went to Olga Dmitrievna to whisper about something. I couldn't find my place with worry. Viola looked at me strangely throughout the concert. Kind of disappointed or something. As if I was supposed to do something from her point of view and You were supposed to take Slavia to dance, probably. If she's alright, if she's in a good state. Or at least go see her. Again, I don't agree with your choice, but I at least understand. And that's the best you can take from me. What's the use of guessing now? So I dutifully allowed myself to be recruited as a speaker puller with no sense of taste at supper. And had a little fight with Olga Dmitrievna over the right to carry the sick man's supper. She either guessed something or knew it outright, but she did not want to agree for a long time. At all this I watched with detachment, squeamish curiosity. All my mental energies were thrown into solving the problem of how to help Slavia. Hey, okay, that's, okay, interesting. Number one, I figured there was a different infirmary room in the original game, but we don't get to see it. I think the only bed we see is in the same infirmary room that we always see. So I thought it'd be there. That's where she is in the original game when we cuddle up with her. Thing number one. And thing number two, Lenin portrait. Yay! In this channel, we love Vladimir Ilyich Ulyanov. Amazing. You love to see it, because no amount of nervous exhaustion involves a body temperature dropping to 35 degrees and a clammy sweat. Okay. More things. Thing number one, she's entirely naked. I don't know if that's necessary, but whatever. Thing number two, that's the image from the Yulia route. Very interesting to be reused here. Ow, motherfucker. I hit my knee under the table. I stood by her bedside for a long, long time, looking into her beautiful, slightly drained face, not knowing what to do. In this daze, I spent several hours until Viola shoved me outside. Thank the Lord. Despising myself for my powerlessness, I walked wherever I could until I finally came to the club's building. Ah, here we fucking go again. Here we go, baby! I better steel myself for this. And I'm gonna steel myself for that next episode, which, for the record, I'm gonna be recording right after this one, because I did not record anything for the last couple days, even though I should have. I'm terribly sorry, but there will be a triple upload to make up for that. Which means that for now, thank you for watching today's episode of 7 Days of Summer Lost Alpha, and I'll see you in the next one.